Hello, Serge here from the back porch. Clipboard, we have a question, comments as well. This one comes from Dwight. And Dwight says, Serge, great video today. A while back I was coming across my body with my driver all the time. Then I put a note on the blog about it, and Robert suggested that I check the length of my driver, as that might be my problem. Well, the next time I went to play, I tried choking up, or some people call it choking down since you're going downward, choking up about 1 to 2 inches on my driver, and the problem resolved. Now my drives are straight down the middle, though not monster drives, but good enough for a 70-year-old. I like that comment, but not monster drives, because in the end, I think that if all you're focusing on is distance, you will not have as much direction. If you focus on direction, you can still have very good distance and be in a lot better place, because as we all know, and it's better to play from the fairway or the short grass, as some people call it. Okay? And so he just realized that. Dwight just realized it. Help from the Serge Nation. How important is it to keep the left arm stiff throughout the swing? I have a problem doing this when I bend my left arm on the backswing, although I seem to hit the ball just as good. So, if you can hit it just as good, so to speak, bending your left arm on the backswing, I have a feeling you're not bending it that bad. Let's talk about stiff. Many people think, because the term has been said, keep your left arm stiff. You notice I never say that. I always say keep your left arm relatively stiff, relatively firm. Take a relatively firm grip. Get a firm grip with the fingers into the palm, and a firm forearm, and a firm wrist and forearm all the way up to just below the forearm. And so we want to stand here, and we want to grip a golf club just like where our hands standing at our side comes right out. So if I had grip my club over here and I come straight out, it's in a relatively straight line. We want the thumb up the forearm, and I grip it, and when we do this, the hand is slightly, as I call it, the V of the hand should be about equal with to where the ball is in front of the club face at address with all the clubs. And so it's in a straight line. I never get my arm stiff into the upper arm from above the elbow to the shoulder. And by that I mean is, as you can see, I'm here right now. Look, my palm's pointing over there. If I really stiffen my left arm completely, look how my hand just opened up. And look what happened to my elbow. My elbow arches up a little bit as the elbow points, which is pointing here, is now pointing straight out, almost just to the right of the camera. Okay? And so that arm is basically hyperextended right now. I see that a lot, even on professional golfers. Now, the problem with the hyperextended arm is once the hand goes from here and goes to like that, I'm trying to keep my grip where the club face is squared to the aiming line. The arm is hyperextended. It raises the tension level in the shoulder socket, especially in all the muscles in the top of my shoulder to up my neck. And it also raises and tightens a lot of my muscles in my back over here. But the issue is once I do that, I go from this normal where normal grip where the elbow is pointing over there versus pointing over there, the inside of the elbow. When I'm normal, where it's pointing over there, I can rotate it and it catches my toe up and straight up the tree. But when I hyperextend it, it makes the rotation almost impossible, which means it tends to make the club, it will make the club go back shut and slightly outside, and then I reach a point at this point where the back arm is higher than the front arm. I can't go up anymore until I do what? Flip the club. And here's another major reason why the clubs are going flat and laid off, and ends up, once it's going that way, it's got a tendency to keep going, which means deeper and pull you so you leave the turn more. So that does not allow us the proper takeaway of in the catcher's mitt, toe up and up the tree. And so, many cases when folks have that arm too straight, golfers have it too straight, when they finally flip, it breaks, and it tends to break the arm. Now remember, I've talked about flexation. We get up to the top and I flex, and when I come down, there's a little flexation in my elbow. The key is how far can you bend your elbow and maintain the firmness, the tautness, the muscle tone, the athletic readiness, the engagement of the muscles. How far can you go before you break it? You just about have to go just short of 90 degrees. Right about 90 degrees it breaks. All right? That's the same concept of people who arm wrestle. When they're arm wrestling with each other, the first one that gets the other guy over the top and gets him to where he's losing his right angle and it becomes an acute angle, he's the loser. And so here, you can have a little flexation. What you can't have is breaking where you lose your muscle tone, where your muscle tone breaks down. And that, when that happens, the club is collapsing inward, and what kind of collapses flops inward will flip outward, all right? And so there is that little bit of flexation, and the key is to maintain it everywhere from the tips of the fingers to just below the elbow. Natural grip to there. If you engage the upper muscles by straightening your arm too much, you're going to hyperextend, and that hyperextension is going to cause the club to go back shut. Because and the last thing about that is putting a lot of stress on the elbow, and in many cases that's one of the major problems why golfers get golfer's elbow, because that hyperextension is really putting pressure on the inside of the elbow, and then when you break, you come back down, it can just as well as get you on the backside too, on the outside of it. Either way, it just depends how you're moving and how you're making corrections and compensations where you might start hurting. So we can have a little flexation, but we start with relatively straight, never locked, hyperextended. Straight, firm, taut, come up, and when we transition, there's that little flexation, but it can't break. It can't break on the way up, and it can't break on the way down. We have to keep it as firm as we can, and that means from here down is where it stays firm. All right, so hopefully this clears up a lot about what is a straight left arm, forward arm, a relatively straight forward arm, as I always use the term relatively straight. So we get these concepts down, and I think you'll find that it'll improve your backswing, improve your transition at the top, and you start making better swings, hit better shots, and shoot those lower scores. That's it for the Surge for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.